pretty across the board for fearful avoidance is that we struggle hardcore, have friends, and maintain friendships growing up. This is no coincidence. So let's talk about why this is, because I'm pretty sure it perplexes many people. I know the fearful avoidance out there, you're like, well, nobody liked me, nobody wanted to be my friend. Let's talk about what's going on here and why it was such a struggle. But first, story time, so that I can give you an example. So growing up, I really struggled to maintain friendships, let alone make friends in general. Because honestly, kids scared the shit out of me, and I felt far more comfortable people pleasing and earning love and affection from adults because I was cute and helpful. But if I did actually have a friend, when I had one, most of my friendships lasted maybe a few months before they pretty much abruptly ended. And I remember this one time when I was about probably 10 or 11, and I had this friend and we did absolutely everything together. I was just so happy. I was just so happy as a little kid, and honestly very desperate, because again, like, I didn't have friends, like, ever. It was really exciting. I got to go on sleepovers, we went shopping, we hung out together, we had our lunches together. But then she started hanging out with other girls, specifically girls I didn't like because they bullied me. Of course, my friend at the time didn't know that. To be honest, I was actually quite jealous of these girls, the popular girls that had like little bows in their hair, and their mums would cut little shapes out of all their food and leave them little love notes. My parents did not do that. I remember I felt so betrayed because she never told me that she was talking to these people, right? And I felt like I was entitled to her telling me that. I felt like I couldn't trust her. I was thinking, like, what else is she hiding from me? How long has this been going on? And I also remember that I felt like I was being replaced and forgotten and left behind, like I was dispensable, like I was basically a placeholder until she found better friends. And this narrative played in my head on loop. The point that one day I just stopped talking to her. She tried to talk to me, she tried to hang out with me. It was that abrupt, I'm done, she doesn't exist to me anymore. I honestly think about her. I actually think about her quite often because I just think to myself, like, how painful and confusing that must have been for her, because she didn't do anything wrong. I was just so afraid and so hurt. And I had zero concept of what safety in a relationship was supposed to be like, or zero concept of what just a healthy relationship was supposed to look like. Before you go and be like, Rachel, that's wild, let's talk about why I did this and why so many fearful avoidants actually really struggled to make friends and maintain friendships growing up. It comes down to, we were not given a blueprint for how safe relationships work. We were not taught the skills to form or maintain healthy relationships. Quick recap of the fearful avoidant, which ties into why we do this. The people with this attachment style have both the anxious and avoidant sides of the attachment spectrum, because we grew up with a hell of a lot of inconsistent caregiving, okay? It was an unpredictable little environment we grew up in. Our caregivers were a source of our comfort as well as our fear. We learned that sometimes comfort was safe, and sometimes it just wasn't, which ended up wiring our nervous system to crave closeness, but also be terrified of it at the same time. Our attachment system, which is essentially how we learn to adapt to have our needs met and survive via connection, is also the lens in which we view and expect connection to work. This is why fearful avoidant children struggled so fucking much to make friends. When you're not taught the skills, emotional or nervous system regulation, let alone co-regulation, like through conflict or vulnerable moments, when you're not taught healthy repair, reciprocity, predictable safety, or emotional attunement, but you are taught through your experiences how to suppress parts of yourself in order to be accepted and stay connected. You were taught how to fear rejection, betrayal, abandonment, not be able to hold the discomfort of being fully seen even when you messed up, knowing that you can still be loved. Of course, you learned that love was conditional. You end up developing a lens of expectations, shape your relationships, not just your romantic ones, because your attachment style is the lens in which you expect how everything works, right? Your attachment style impacts your relationship with everything. Friends, work, success, money, the list goes on, because it's how your nervous system learned to interpret the world and respond to connection. So no, it's not because you sucked and no one liked you. It's because you were literally not taught the skills that friendship requires.